Okay, I'm going to continue this 32 and 32 series. This time I will be covering the Vancouver Canucks. And what a season they had this past year. Nobody expected them to have the season that they did. And they just blew myself and I'm sure everybody away by not only making the playoffs, but winning the Pacific Division for the first time in 9 years. So they finished with a record of 50, 23, and 9. They had 109 points on the season. They would face Nashville in the first round. They would beat them in 6 games, but unfortunately they would drop their second round series against the Edmonton Oilers in 7 games. Nothing worse than a Game 7 loss at home. So as always, I just go through the rosters and see who's still under contract or who possibly signed elsewhere. So starting with Nils Aman, if I pronounce that name correctly, his contract did expire, but he has signed a 2-year deal worth $825,000. So he's guaranteed to be in Vancouver for 2 more years. A couple of guys that I'm sure Vancouver was hoping to get signed long-term, but unfortunately it was not meant to be. Elias Lindholm has left. He has signed with the Boston Bruins, as has Nikita Zadorov. Both those guys came over from two different trades from the Calgary Flames this past season, but unfortunately neither of those players were able to stick long-term in Vancouver. Dakota Joshua has re-signed, if I'm not mistaken, on a 3-year deal, so it doesn't expire until the 2027 season. He had a breakout season, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, and he's a great middle-of-the-pack player. He could play on the second line if need be, but he's probably more suited on the third line. Philip Hronek's contract did expire, but he signed a massive deal, an 8-year contract that does not expire until 2031, which is quite a long ways to go. So he's guaranteed to be in Vancouver for at least 8 more seasons. Mark Friedman, take a look to see if he is on this list. And he is, but he has yet to re-sign. I'm sure being 27 years old, 27 or 28, however old he is, I'm sure he's definitely a UFA. So if he can't come to terms with Vancouver, he'll guaranteed sign with another team. So Teddy Bluger came over on a 1-year deal, but he has re-signed on a 1-year deal as well, so he'll be guaranteed to be a Vancouver Canuck for this upcoming season. Now Tyler Myers, there was a lot of talk about him possibly leaving because it was no one knew how much he'd be asking for, and I think he's going to be making $9 million this upcoming season, and he's guaranteed to be in Vancouver for the next 2 seasons. So a lot of money, but it's a pretty big defenseman at that as well. So I think it works out for both squads. Vasily Podkolzin, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, I very well could have screwed that up. He is still unsigned, so he would be an RFA. Linus Karlsson, take a look and see where he is, if he's still on the list. And he is not. So he could have been traded away, only because when you're 22, 23 years old, you're still likely on a rookie contract, so he very well could have gone elsewhere. Ian Cole has definitely left town. Seems like he just signs 1-year deals. Maybe he just wants to go sightseeing. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure he has signed with another team. Again, mid-30s, not a whole lot of tread left on the tire, but a great veteran defenseman to have on your team. Sam Lafferty was traded away, but I can't remember who he was traded for or where, but I do know that he is no longer a Vancouver Canuck. Elias Pettersson's contract did expire this past season, but as you can see on the screen, he has re-signed 8 years, $11.6 million. Some might say it's pretty high. I mean, it's a $4 million pay raise compared to this past year, but I mean, when healthy, he can definitely be a difference maker for this team. And Tucker Pullman's contract doesn't expire until next year, so I won't have to worry about talking about him at least for 1 more season. So Casey DeSmith was traded from the Montreal Canadiens last offseason to the Vancouver Canucks. He was playing on a 1-year. He was playing on the last year of his deal. Now, if I was a betting man, I'd say he possibly ships out of Vancouver, and Arthur Solovas, who had a fantastic run in the postseason, he should and most likely will re-sign with the Vancouver Canucks if he hasn't done that already. I will take a look at the list just to make sure, but yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd say they should sign him for a long term. And Thatcher Demko, unfortunately, went down with a freak injury in Game 1 of the postseason. He has 2 more years left to go on his contract, so when healthy, he can be very dominant. I mean, he had a fantastic season, but unfortunately, he just got hurt in Game 1 of their series with the Nashville Predators and never saw the ice ever again. All right, that takes care of this recap from the 32 and 32 series that I have created. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.